Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, collectors of all ages, it is back, baby. It is Aussieverse. We are here for a very special live episode. I am OmniBeau, joined by the astounding Sharif and single issue Steve. And who are these two boys? But underneath me, let me tell you about Jump Punch Comics. We have Daryl Lee. Don't mess with this guy because he's a fourth dan black belt, but that is not the reason why we're here. He's also a comic book creator, as well as Nathan, all the way from Arizona. He does like to play Tekken, so both of these guys like to fight, but they're here to talk about their latest Kickstarter, Jump Punch Volume 1. It is Daryl, it is Nathan from Jump Punch Comics, baby.
Hey, woo! How you doing? Good to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
Very much for joining. All right, so Steve, you know what? Usually I start this sort of interview with the who, what, why are you sort of thing, but instead I notice that you're wearing a gi. Is that what it's called?
Correct.
Okay, so why are you wearing that on this particular show? And has it got anything to do with the past interaction with Daryl?
Okay, great question. Why am I wearing it? G'day, Matt. I'm wearing it because, you know, the thing I'm really excited about with the whole Jump Punch is the whole martial arts side of things. So I definitely know that Daryl has trained before. I'm not sure about you, Nate, so I'll talk to you about that as well. But, you know, I'm been into martial arts myself for many years now, and I'm excited to talk shop with some fellow practitioners. So that's why I'm wearing it. I thought, you know, I'll represent my style and happy to talk about it. So yeah.
Very sure. I also have a credential in martial arts. I got all the way to yellow belt in Tae Kwon Do way back in 5th grade, I think. I had to focus on the mystic arts instead of the martial arts.
That counts.
100% it does.
I tell the kids in my class that as soon as you start training in any martial arts, you're now ranked amongst the best martial artists in the world. And you can tell people that. Just don't tell them where on the ranking you are. And,
it's a spectrum.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm one of the best martial artists in the world.
That's the power of positivity. So, Daryl, Nathan, I don't know how you want to go about this with who talks first, but please, you guys reached out to us, which is absolutely fantastic. That doesn't happen very often. It's usually us reaching out to other people. So we're very, very gracious and very, very happy that you're here. Please tell the world who you are, what you are, why you are, and how you are.
Nathan, take it away.
There's a lot. Well, your reputation precedes you, so we heard of your greatness and it beckoned us, and here we are. But I guess we're on the show today really to cut to the chase. We're promoting our first graphic novel of Jump Punch. Jump Punch is a martial fantasy comic book, and we kind of describe it as Cobra Kai meets Stranger Things. So it's got all the action flair of a Jackie Chan movie, but it's got the magic and monsters of, you know, Stranger Things. So it started as a casual collaboration, but it's been going on for 6 years now, and we're really chuffed by it. We're having a lot of fun, and we finally got around to launching a Kickstarter. So it's live right now. You can jump on it, check it out. We think it's a great book, and I think you won't regret it if you give it a try. And you can actually read the first issue for free. So why not have a taste? We're like drug dealers. We give them a taste, and then they're hooked. It's that good.
the drug being martial arts powers and fighting prowess, that kind of thing. Once they taste it, they'll never go back.
That's right.
First issue you can get via our Instagram page or on the Kickstarter link as well. So if you go there, the link is in there. You can.
Yeah. So I used to run a comics festival called Indie Comic Con. So I work as a professional illustrator and a graphic designer, but comics have always been a passion of mine. When I was 7 years old, I discovered a big black leather bag of them in the garage, and they belonged to my uncle. And they were full of like 70s era Fantastic Four, Sergeant Fury, you know, and like there's the smell of those comics. I can still smell them today, like dusty, you know, dirty paper. I was hooked since then. And yeah, so I was running this comic festival, and Daryl rocked up, and he's like, you know, I'm interested in comics too. He had his portfolio with him. He had a lot of great pinup art and sketches, and I could see he had a lot of talent. He's like, would you be interested in doing something together? I said, sure, let's collaborate, and we'll write a story together. You can draw it, I'll ink it, because inking is something I really love. And the first thing we had to decide is what we're going to write the story about. And I learned a little bit about Daryl, and he's a martial artist. So he's a black belt in Tae Kwon Do. He runs a martial arts school. He teaches martial arts to many people. And I said, let's do something, let's do action, adventure, martial arts, because it's right in the sweet spot of your passion and your knowledge. And that was the spark.
And it wasn't like, that's kind of my vibe anyway. I like that kind of stuff. But the next step was talking about, thanks, Matt. Cheers, man. The next step was talking about what are our shared interests, what are our like passions in different kinds of media, and we talked about movies, and it was like we had the same kind of taste in movies anyway. The first one that came up was Big Trouble in Little China, and that was like kind of the beginning of how our story starts. Street Fighter, Double Dragon, things like this. If you look at our Jump Punch logo, we wanted a dragon in the logo. Like it's all from those kind of things, So yeah, it was a fun discussion, and I really enjoyed Nathan's energy in the comic book community. He felt like he was really making things happen, doing things like starting his own festival, Indie Comic Con, which ran for 3 years, right?
Yeah, it went for 3 years, and then COVID kind of killed it. But I was kind of happy because I needed a break. It was a big passion project that took a lot of energy, but I had a great time doing it. Met a lot of awesome people on the way. That video game that you just showed, Steve, is really funny because people talk to us about that all the time. They're like, where can I get the Game Boy game? I'm like, well, it's a fake advertisement. So unfortunately, you have to wait on that one. But
Nathan did that. He did that as a goof. He didn't tell me about it until it was all done and showed me. And he knew, he was expecting my exact reaction. I was like, oh my God, this has to happen. But I love that stuff in the book. Like the people who have read it react to it. At the last Metro Comic Con we were at, we did this as a little promo thing. We gave away like a Nintendo Switch case. You can see it says like high levels of fantasy violence and awesomeness. But the kids at my school, like, because a number of them came to the Comic Con as well. They were like, when is the game being released? They were looking through it all through the eShop on the Nintendo store. So we're like, oh, great, that's awesome. We've got a little buzz happening around it. So,
Well, when I picked these ones up for you guys at the con that I met you, I think it was it Comic Con?
Would have been Metro. Was that Metro Comic
Yeah,
Con?
Metro. Yeah, you actually gave me the little Game Boy box.
yes.
Oh, cool.
As well, which was very cool.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun at Metro Comic Con. It just was really lucky that the people next to us didn't turn up. So we commandeered their space as well and made it a double booth. And then we were running martial arts demonstrations, getting people, jump on the mat, have a punch, have a kick with Daryl. And we had the best time.
Mm. Yeah,
I remember.
You must have gotten on the mat, Steve, and thrown some punches.
I did. Yeah. I had a friend of mine take some footage. I nearly missed the bag a couple of times. Sorry, Daryl.
We should have uploaded that video. We should have uploaded that video.
Yeah.
All right. Don't worry about it.
I just remember walking, because I was with you at that con, and we're all looking at comics, right? It's a Comic Con. And I turn around, and all of a sudden, Steve's sitting there doing jabs and shit. And I'm like, what's going on here? And he's like, you got to check out these guys, It was so funny. But it was cool to see Steve finally in action.
Yeah, I mean, that was
great.
part of our strategy going into the con, is to offer something beyond people's expectations, because I don't know how you guys feel about Comic Cons these days, but it's just kind of like a big shopping mall almost. And there's very few interactive things available to people. They do have the video games and they have the dancing and everything, but we were trying to offer something that people could jump in, do, that was easy and that was free and that was fun, and mission accomplished.
And from a lot of the photos and things on your socials, a lot of people actually wanted to do it and gave it a go.
You'd be surprised, right, Daryl, how many people are martial artists out there?
Oh yeah, so many. Like you just start probing a little. Oh yeah, I've happened to be training in whatever for 8 years now. It's
Wing
like,
Chun.
Cool, jump on, let's give it a shot. One of the fun things at the last MetroCon, we hit a bit of a slow point in the day, and Nathan just wrote push-up challenge on a piece of paper and stuck it on the wall. And we had like a crowd of like 20 or so people around us, all wanting to, can I jump in next? Can I have a go? This kind of stuff. It was really funny. We had like this kid came in, he did like 60 push-ups in a row, and the people around were all like clapping, man, come on, do it, a few more and stuff. It was like, just
that was so funny. We had this guy who did like 40 push-ups. He was real fit, and we're like, right, that's the record. No one's gonna beat it. And then the next person that comes is a skinny little 8-year-old. He's about 3 feet tall. He's like, can I do it? And he's just like, boom, boom, like a machine. He did literally like 60, 70. So I was like, whoa.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm just tired watching you. That's crazy.
You know who I wonder?
The reactions, like just people wanted to have a go at something physical. Like we weren't like asking them to do it, but they wanted to, just jump in and have a go. So it was, a lot of fun.
That is brilliant. That is such a good idea. Because then you'd have the arrogant ones that'd be like, I can do it. You know who else I wonder how many push-ups they can do? That would be our full lifers, our paid members. We just want to say a quick shout out to all of you guys out there. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Go check out Jump Punch Volume 1. I'm sure you will not be disappointed. And remember that the best way to support Aussieverse is not by being a paid member, even though we do love you for it. It is just by simply liking the video and subscribing. Moving on. So, Steve,
yes.
What were your first thoughts when you read Jump Punch? Did you read it straight away or just recently? What's the go?
No, because I had to drive home. It's a bit hard to read while you're driving from the con. No, I really enjoyed it. And the question I wanted to ask you guys was the characters. Are they based on people in your lives, or are they completely different people?
No, they're completely from our imaginations. At best, we might have taken like sort of like motifs in all the genres that we love and kind of like mix them together to create these characters. But from the start, we knew that the main hero was kind of going to be like a sort of Han Solo, reckless, kind of hot-headed, show-off character. And then to balance him, we needed to introduce someone who's kind of like his opposite, who's very like grounded, logical, cynical, and that's Cindy. And then Yukari's in the mix, and she's kind of like a fire element, just like mixes everything up, and she's a real powerhouse. What do you think, Daryl?
Yeah, like it's sort of Tae grabs hold of all those like classic hero kind of archetypes and things like this. But yeah, it was all about just trying to get the dynamic of our three main characters working well together and stuff. So. Yeah, Cindy, who's the cynic, she's not really impressed when the Yukari comes in because she's like a bit mysterious and stuff. Joe's like, he's hung up on her right away because he's kind of like attracted to her and things. So we get that kind of funny dynamic in there as well. So it was all just about trying to make the buzz between those characters interesting and fun. But yeah, it was all just, I think one of the first discussions was like, what kind of things do we like in terms of physicality? And we were like, well, aside from martial arts, what else is cool? And we're like, parkour's kind of fun. We could do something like that. Yeah, so Joe's like he's like a parkour courier. So he travels across Midway City, the fictional place they're in, and he delivers packages with parkour and stuff. And that's how he finds the artifact that kickstarts our story, But yeah,
we wanted to really make sure that every character felt different, and so they all resolve conflicts, both physical and otherwise, differently. So Joe is a parkour specialist, so he's evasive. So whenever he gets in a fight, he's using the elements of the environment. He's dodging. He's getting the enemies to make their own mistakes. Whereas Yukari is a true martial artist, and she, brings the fight to them. Cindy uses her brains. She's kind of like a Donatello. There's actually a really exciting fight scene coming up in a future issue where she gets to steal the show, and the way she handles it is quite different. But every episode, every chapter that we've done has a main fight, and we've gone to great pains to make sure that every one of those fights feels different, so you never see the same thing twice.
That issue you held up there, Steve, that fight scene in the construction yard, which is in volume 1, was inspired by one of the early scenes in Rush Hour 2 with Jackie Chan. There's a scene where they run out of the nightclub and they climb up this bamboo scaffolding on the building. And I love that kind of stuff. Jackie Chan stuff is just awesome. So much fun to watch. And I feel like it's kind of missing from cinema these days, just the tight choreography of weaving through those things. So I wanted to create that when he leads the bad guys into this construction site, and they're fighting on top of the crane. They're jumping between like buildings and stuff. And yeah, it was just so much fun to draw,
Well, One of the things I really love, and just talking about the characters that you guys were just talking about, was that I expected it to be three martial artists and maybe different styles or anything, but they, as you said, they're just completely different. Like there's really only one proper martial artist in it, and you've got parkour, and then you've got Cindy as well. I just really like that dynamic. It's very, very different. I was expecting it's just going to be fights, but there's a really solid storyline behind it, and the mysticism behind it and everything's very cool as well.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
We've basically just taken everything that we love off the shelf, like 80s movies, beat 'em up, video games, manga, and we put together kaiju, and baked it into like a comic book called Jump Punch. We're definitely children of the 80s, so we are drawing heavily on those kind of movies. Big Trouble in Little China is probably the blueprint almost for this. But we are having fun, and we started this really not knowing where it's going, and only recently have we kind of tied it in all these loops together. And we're surprising ourselves, every day, really, with new story ideas and things to kind of pepper in there. So we're really excited about what's to come. The first 4 issues that Volume 1 collects are kind of just the tip of the iceberg, really. It's
kind of
continue to broaden and get deeper and deeper and crazier and crazier.
Yeah, the Volume 1 kind of almost takes you up almost to the end of Act 1 in our story, because after we've almost got issue 5 underway as well. Cool. Halfway through production on that as well, but the issue 5 moment when Nathan sent me the script, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, this is so cool. We've really like Nathan said, we've gone to a lot of great lengths to try and make the big action beats in each issue really unique, and the issue Volume 1's going to give everyone a good taste, because it also comes with 3 additional short stories that flesh out a few of the characters. We've got a short story about Yukari and where her mindset is coming from for why she's in the story. A cool one about our main villain and how he sort of turns to his dark side, I guess. And then another fun episode that for all our backers, anyone who backs, we're going to have this side story. We've got a little Christmas, our Jump Punch take on the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie Jingle All the Way, where Joe and Cindy fulfill this massive Christmas parkour delivery. So we're going to have that one ready to send out to everyone on Christmas Eve. So if you back our book now, there's going to be a fun Christmas short story going to your inbox on Christmas Eve that you can enjoy with everyone. And we think it really kind of channels the fun of those, cheesy Jingle All the Way movies and stuff. It's only a short tale, but it's a lot of fun as well.
That's cool.
Oh, fantastic.
You got me at Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Before we do take a look at the book, sorry, Sharif, I was going to say, what did you think of it, mate? Well, you read it today, I'm guessing, or recently?
Yeah, I managed to read through the whole of issue 1, and like both of you said, the scene in the alleyway where Joe got
the Magatama.
And he got into the fight. That alleyway, when I was reading it, I said, "Oh, yeah, I got a bit of the Big Trouble in Little China kind of vibes." And then it's just so funny that early on you mentioned it, but in saying that, towards the end of that issue 1, where he got that artifact, and the introduction of the Japanese female character, I can't remember her name. So that ending got me. Okay, so I gotta go get that collected edition because I want to find out more.
Excellent.
We've engineered these, so as I said, I'm a student of comics. We've engineered these so that they're a wrapped up, story, but there's always a cliffhanger. There's always what's going to happen next?
Yeah,
and you have to know. You have to find the next chapter, right? Did you feel like that at the end of chapter 4, Steve?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I can't wait for 5. Hurry up.
That's the thing. It takes so long. It takes about 15 minutes to read and 6 months to produce.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you guys ever watch Futurama back in the day? There was there was a funny episode where Fry and everyone had to write an episode of Single Female Lawyer, and
yes,
they were performing it on the fly, and they've gone, Fry, the script has run out of dialogue, and he's like, oh, it took an hour to write, so I thought it would take an hour to read. And like, obviously not the reality.
Let me get rid of that logo. Bang. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so here we are. The Jump Punch Volume 1. As you can see, there is 21 days to go. Plenty of time, and they do need more people backing them so they can reach that goal. Can we play this video, or is there like music that YouTube will hate us?
No, it's no copyrighted music. You should be good to go. We took it out of the YouTube free music library.
Sweet. Now let's go through this. Well, you've already gone over the story a little bit, but if you want, a bit more specifics, when a parkour delivery guy stumbles upon a magical artifact, his ordinary life takes a thrilling turn. Now he must use its power to stop a maniacal sorcerer from opening a dangerous portal to the past. Jump Punch is a martial arts fantasy comic book. Think Cobra Kai's high kicking action combined with the mysterious thrills of Stranger Things. Jump Punch blends parkour, martial arts, and supernatural elements for a fast-pacing adventure with humor and spectacle. And you can go through some pages here. I did want to ask, actually, as we're scrolling, was the black and white choice something that you specifically wanted to do, or was it a money thing, or you didn't have a colorist? Because a lot of people really love black and white these days, I've noticed. So I was curious about that choice.
It was kind of it came from sort of wanting to lean into like a manga type of comic book at the same time, like it's kind of with all the martial arts kaiju kind of elements and stuff to it. We felt like manga really suited it. The short stories that'll be in volume 1 we're doing in full color just as like something different to offer people who are pledging and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a conscious choice, and yeah, people do ask that one a lot. It was like trying to get that. I feel like I really enjoy reading black and white books. My favorite, like Akira, is my favorite comic of all time, and I think the black and white does. I like the imagination behind it as well. I feel like there's something maybe takes it away almost with the color on your pages and stuff. I don't know. There's something about it I really enjoy.
Yeah.
Like it just.
Daryl's drawing sensibility is very much from a manga tradition, I would say. So I think it really suits his drawing style. And also, like from a production standpoint, I think we decided early on black and white just because we could produce it more quickly without having to do colors. Midway City, which is the setting for the story, is supposed to be kind of like a grungy, grimy, dirty city, scape. So I think the black and white also lends itself to that sort of aesthetic.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. If you aren't still sure and you're a little on the fence, then you can read issue 1 completely for free. Just go to the Kickstarter and you can view and download it right there, which is really cool, actually, because I think that's just a brilliant and great idea, being able to give that for free. Here are the characters that you guys were talking about earlier.
Mm-hmm.
They also appeared in the video. More of a synopsis on them, or just description, I should say. And this is a little bit about you guys. I didn't read that in the intro. I already knew that about you guys. I memorized it. Inspired by some of the best things in the entire world, especially for me anyway, TMNT.
Yeah, look at that. How cool is that? Like, I love that image.
Well, and if you're a fan of TMNT, then you better tune in, because we are hosting a screening of the original 1989 movie on Saturday. Is it Saturday? Saturday, December the 7th, I believe. Yeah.
Some theater in Yarraville have been awesome supporters of us and Jump Punch, and they're letting us have a little launch party at their cinema where we're screening the original 1990 Ninja Turtle film. This poster is going to be in the lobby as well. We're super proud of this. And it's like a celebration of Jump Punch and 40 years of the Ninja Turtles. They've been around for 40 years as of this year.
That's insane.
Is that in Yarraville?
In Yarraville, yeah.
Ooh, okay.
So if you can book a ticket, but you gotta be quick because I think only the front row is really available at this point.
The second row, yeah, like they're selling pretty quick.
Well, if Steve was going to come, he'd need the front row anyway, so that's fine.
But they are also doing a collaboration with Disporto Pizza next door. So for this movie, you can grab a special pizza. They have a special menu tied to the Turtles. You can bring it into the movie theater and eat a pizza while you watch the Turtles. So it doesn't get any better than that. Plus, you're going to get a free Jump Punch comic, and we're going to give out some goodies as well.
Yeah, like we're also like big comic collector fans, you know. So we feel like this print run of issue number 1, that we'll be handing out, there'll be no more prints of this one. Like that's it. So if you have one, and when Jump Punch is at the same height of the Ninja Turtles, you'll be like, oh, I was there at the very beginning with my issue number 1.
Gotta get that one.
Once again, Daryl, awesome, especially the background and the detail of the anatomical accuracy as the battle adds a great realism, and of course the characters look great. Beautiful work.
I just recall my own battle with a giant metal armed monster in the alleyway, and it was easy to draw.
And that was one of the things I noticed as well with the drawings that you did, Daryl, that you can tell they're actually drawn by someone who has done martial arts.
Great, that's awesome. What a compliment. That's great. Thank you.
Do you guys know Ben Sullivan?
Ben Sullivan.
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Yeah, like the American knows him, not the Australian. Ben Sullivan's a fantastic artist as well, absolutely brilliant. And,
he's here. There he is. Hey, Ben.
Yeah. KGB, good job, fellas. Looks bloody awesome. That's an Australian comment
awesome.
right
Thank
there.
you.
But you're 100% right with that, because I think Daryl has an innate kind of just feeling about kinetic movement. So his drawings have always been dynamic, which is something I appreciate about his art style. And I think with his knowledge as a martial artist, it just makes every scene that much better. And he's always pushing himself to go that next step in his art. And since we started, issue 1 was probably like 5-6 years ago. Like it's just gotten better and better and better. So he's knocking it out of the park. And I think, you know, that martial art background is definitely helping the action come off the page.
Well, that's awesome to say, Nathan, but I also like referring to this as like a full collaboration, you know, like I think my art style, I think about this a lot, my art style and layouts for panels and stuff improves off Nathan's feedback. Nathan has a really good eye for design and presentation of our books. I think his presentation skills, the graphic design stuff, I think just is what adds the extra flavor to what we're doing. Issue 1 that we re-released this year has had a great success because we've had like a few kids at dress-up days at different schools dressing up as our characters and stuff. The parents have been sending in photos and things. And I think that comes down to like how well the book is presented. The design of the back pages that tells what's to come of the story, and even the Kickstarter page, that's all Nathan doing that. So I think I really like to refer to Jump Punch as like a proper collaboration, you know, like it's really both of our strengths in it. So back at you, Nathan.
Wonderful.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So the rewards here, let's see. You got first of all, Volume 1, as you said, collects issue number 1 to 4, remastered with new artwork and extra pages that have never been seen before. It also includes 3 all-new exciting short stories in full color. That's over 130 pages of comics. And then explain this charity donation that you've got down here.
So Nathan and I'm a current primary school teacher. Nathan's a former teacher before he was full-time graphic design. We both have a strong passion for children developing strong literacy skills. And like, you know, we grew up with comic books and things like that as well. And we just know that children who come from families of financial struggles and things like that, or poverty, are at risk of having poor development in their literacy schools. So we reached out to a couple of charity groups in the Inner West, and Randa and her team at Reaching Out in the Inner West, they agreed to work with us. So we're going to donate copies of our book to this charity. So we're going to have them printed early in 2025, and we'll donate the books to children of families who come to visit their space to collect food and essential needs for homes and things like this. So yeah, there's a reward tier on our Kickstarter campaign where all of the money donated to that tier will go directly to wholesale printing of the book. And once that's printed, donated right to the charity for children to take. So yeah, with the aim of like giving something like, because comic books have come from Nathan and I when we were kids. Like Nathan told you about when he first found comic books. I remember reading my first one. It was like a Spectacular Spider-Man issue when I was like 10 years old or something like this, and it was in my friend's house, and I can just remember flicking through it multiple times when I was having the sleepover. Even when he'd gone to sleep, I was still just kind of rereading it and going through it and looking at the drawings. It was just like a lot of fun. And I think giving something like that to kids that may not necessarily have access to it would be just something awesome to do, and kind of within our nature as well, so
That's something I haven't seen before, so
Yeah, it's pretty special. Well done, fellas. That's really good.
That's really,
cheers.
really cool. Okay, so moving on now, we've got, let's see. These are the rewards, the packages that you can buy. You can pledge only $5 and you get a wallpaper pack.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty cool. Actually,
Cool swag for your phone or computer. Keep you going to, the 2 o'clock slump.
that's really cool.
You switch on your phone and your car is punching your face, and you're like, "Whoa, I'm back here."
Get back to work.
Wake up.
I don't need to hate myself anymore. My phone will do it.
Yeah.
Digital edition for $29, and for those that don't read digital comics and I only collect physical, let me tell you something. Digital is actually a great way to read these days, especially if you've got bad eyesight and you like to zoom in to those panels. Don't get me wrong, I still love physical printed comics, but there is definitely a place for digital readers. So you can grab that. That is the digital PDF as well as the wallpaper pack. There's also down here, $55. You get the print edition as well as the digital PDF and the wallpaper pack. That's actually pretty cool. That's I like that. That's a good price.
Did you do the
point.
charity donation one, mate, or did you miss that one?
I missed that one. Thank you, Steve. That's why you're here.
Correct. Hey, I'm supposed to have the shit eyes.
Limited time only, early bird signed print edition. That has gone, hasn't it?
That has gone, unfortunately.
10
So
backers.
those lucky birds are going to get a special sketch remark from us as well as signed copies.
That's cool.
Oh, I see a face down there that I recognize.
Yeah.
Yep, I know. Well, Shane's bought one of them.
It's that weird bloke in the hat, isn't it?
Hey?
That weird bloke in the hat.
Yes. Good old sizzle. All right. So, are you guys
just as a side note to that, of people who bought that one, I also happen to know when we look through the thing, an Aussie UFC fighter. I can't name the name yet because we're going to chat to him to see if we can collaborate some way. He bought an issue the other day as well, and I was like, oh my gosh, that person got one. That's cool. Yeah. So
wow.
Stay tuned on that. But I was pretty pumped. It's a number one choice, Jump Punch, number one choice for UFC fighters.
And how long until it ends again? We've got 21 days. Okay.
Got a little while to jump on that. Even if it's not your thing, think about sending it to a friend. The more eyeballs we get on it, the better. It's not for everybody, but it might be for you. And we think it's pretty cool.
Yeah. I've got to admit that's pretty cool. I like it how you haven't chalked it down as well with 100 different offers that you can get, because sometimes I've got to admit I get a little confusing and I'm like, which one do I go for?
No, we talked about that. We said let's keep it concise and clear, or we're not going to make you scroll through 1,000 pages to figure out what to do. It's pretty straightforward. We just have one book really, and we think it's a great read. We are 100% confident that you're going to love it. So now, why not just read issue 1 and see how you feel about it? But we're having a good time regardless. And what else can I say? Comics are fun.
And now here is a word from our sponsor, Comic Bookaroo, Australia's #1 online comic book store. Comic Bookaroo, proud sponsors of Aussieverse for all your comic book needs. Graphic novels, hardcovers, omnibuses, single issues. Don't forget to pre-order every Sunday at Comic Bookaroo. Sharif, I think you were about to say something.
Yep. So with with issue 5 in the works, what can readers expect stuff to come?
So it's issue 5 and 6 in the works actually. Like I got really excited and I jumped ahead. There's a key moment in issue 6 that really like opens everything up. It's if you we can't give too much away about it, but
No
like
spoilers.
the fantasy elements that we've been sort of teasing, you get a real big glimpse of all that, and it's like we think it's an epic moment. Like the pages I've drawn of it, the sequence that happens to it, I showed my wife, my mother-in-law, everyone who's seen it has gone, oh wow, you know, at the big payoff moment in that scene, and I was like, yeah. So the fantasy, the sort of Stranger Things element that we've been sort of teasing and prodding at, that comes alive, and there's also a cool. Maybe you want to talk about like or hint at the moment, Nathan, in issue 5, like that you were pretty stoked about when you wrote it.
So the first 4 issues are kind of an introduction into the world and introduce the main characters, and they're kind of like how things get set in motion. Then what you can expect going forward to 5, 6, 7, 8 is that the world begins to expand. You're introduced to the magical side of this underworld that people aren't aware of, and you start to learn about the motivations behind the struggle to control the Magatama, which is the mysterious object that Joe finds in issue 1. So things become bigger and the stakes become higher as the scale just increases until it's quite grand, really. And you think, after you read issue 1 to 4, you might think you know what kind of story this is, but then it's just going to tilt and you're going to be completely surprised by what's coming.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. You just need to
Jump
put that
over
on.
impress your mother-in-law. Yep.
I think that's a winning slogan right there.
Yes.
Okay, so Steve, how many issues do you have?
I have 3.
Oh, okay, cool.
I've got 2, 3, and 4. So I'm going to talk to you guys about getting issue 1 because I really need it.
Keep one for you for sure.
What was
That's
your favorite part of the 4?
Which one's my favorite part of the 4, or which one's my favorite out of the 4?
Favorite moment, favorite character?
I like the introduction of Deadeye.
Okay.
When he comes on the scene, he's a really, really interesting character. I'm looking forward to seeing how he plays a larger role in what's happening. So he's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've only read issue 1, and I want to know what that damn thing is, that artifact, already. And
Well,
I didn't realize there was kaijus coming into it until later as well.
Yeah.
Now I really have to read more.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at your Instagram here just to show off a bit more of your art, eh? So if you guys do want to check this out, it is simply Jump Punch Comic. Very easy to find. Let's see. Look at that.
That's a moment from issue 4.
Oh.
A bit of foreshadowing there.
Yeah.
With the
This is so part of the Turtles event coming up with Pizza Das Porto are doing some special Ninja Turtles options, and we dove all in with like the promotion for it, you know. So we had this awesome meeting with the owners, and they were deciding which pizza would best suit which turtle and stuff. It was a lot of fun. But this pizza and another one that will be announced on Monday, they're 2 new options that are available only for the night. So this one's going to be like a loaded cheese pizza.
Did you get to do any tastings, Daryl?
No, not yet.
Oh, would that be one with jelly bean or
marshmallows?
We talked about that. We talked about that as an option, but it was like it was a bit too much umming and ahhing about it. We thought just keeping it safe would be a better choice. But yeah, that did come up. Let's put jelly beans and stuff on there. Yeah,
it's BYO marshmallows.
Yes.
Isn't it funny how? Like, tell me if I'm wrong, but isn't it funny how all the Ninja Turtles eat pizza, but if you have to pick one in the picture, it's just automatically Michelangelo? Why is that? Because I think everybody thinks that.
Scroll through.
Oh, okay. Because I do. Raphael's my favorite. But when I think of a turtle eating pizza, it's Michelangelo.
Well, go back to that previous image and scroll through the. Can you scroll through the image in that?
Oh, right. Yep. Hey, there we go. There's my boy.
So we did one for each. There'll be 4. So each of the 4 pizzas are offered at a discount for just if you have a ticket to the Turtles movie. So Donatello's pizza's announced on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I stuffed it up. 1 sec. So we've got cheese
Mine
pizza.
with the cheese.
The Diablo is the spicy pizza. So it's like, what's the point of if there isn't a little kick? You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Bozy loves his spice.
Yeah.
that's right.
And Leonardo's is yet to be revealed.
No. His is like they're vegetarian. It's called the Ortolana. It's a vegetarian.
Of course, his is the vegetarian. Of course, it is.
Yeah.
He wouldn't sully his body with meat products.
It makes
That's
perfect sense.
There's one more spot there.
Yeah. All
One
right,
more.
that's that.
Who's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
What's it gonna be?
You
Could
find
be one
out
of
on
those
Monday.
weird pizzas
That's
with
the
like
books go out on Monday.
white base.
That's cool.
Oh, that is cool.
We got sound, I think, on some of these.
Oh, you do too. I'm such a fool.
Up the jam, pump it up while your feet are stumping.
Oh yeah.
Nice little 1990 Turtles reference there.
Yeah.
We're just gonna be careful. You wouldn't believe how bad YouTube is these days with playing music. And then all of a sudden, Russia can't watch this video. Russia has to watch it.
Yep.
So if you go down a bit further, you'll find a lot of our martial arts at the cons, which we posted a lot of recently, and a lot of the events we've been doing in the community just to kind of prime the Kickstarter and get people excited about it. So we attended Comic-Con. We did a workshop at Sun Theater with some kids. We went to a bakery. We've been everywhere.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Martial artists and put them into a little bit of a fight scene.
Yep.
So
Damn.
these 4 people we kind of sourced before the demo, and like they do like this. There are a couple of people who've done it before, a couple of who are first timers and that, but like we just coach them for a basic fight scene, put it to the Matrix music back in. Here's the full sequence of what they did: punch, punch. And it was just a lot of fun, just kind of
Cool.
doing a little display or whatever,
Yeah, that is cool. That is cool.
Bang. Boom.
Batman will always win.
I was just picturing Steve up there fighting one of the little girls. Just wouldn't be right.
Great.
That's
now
why
you
I
make me
fight
feel
with
like a
him on the
bully.
day. I say, get your hands up.
Oh, that's fantastic. And this is so cute. You were saying that they cosplay. Look at
that girl, her mum sent us a note saying, here's the order receipt of the punk things we've ordered from whatever site to dress up as Cindy. And we're like, what? And she goes, yeah, we're going to send you a photo in a couple of weeks of her dressing up for a book week celebration at her school. So she went to her school dressed as Cindy.
Cindy.
It was
That is so cool.
And, like,
Cindy's
just
my
all-
favorite character, by the way.
Yeah.
What have we got here?
We should
A
find the
violent
one you did with the Karate Kid.
Normal busking for you, Banana Man.
This guy, we just had people come up and we're like, you want to do a fight scene? And it was like, do you want to beat me up or should I beat you up? And he goes, you can beat me up. And it was like, okay, cool, let's figure it out.
You look like a tall fella.
Yeah.
Oh, these are great. Oh, look at
So
this
just
photo.
really wanted
good.
to engage with the crowd and stuff like this and, make a bit of an experience for everyone,
I think this kid in the middle is a little sus, though.
Yeah.
What about the is that Oompa Loompa? No, it's what are those guys called? Teletubby.
Teletubbies?
There's a showdown with Darth Vader there. If you have a look at that one, I fought Darth Vader above there.
Oh, you fought Darth Vader?
Yeah, go up one row. That one.
Oh, wow. Okay. Hang on.
Jump punch.
Oh, I'm not playing that. Disney will
Yeah,
kill me.
yeah. Uh-oh.
Very good.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. That's one thing I want you to teach me, the kip up. I've always wanted to be able to do that. I probably can't now with how old I am and injuries, but yeah, man, I've always been impressed with the kip up for some reason. Look at it. Here we go.
I love it.
And boing.
Yeah.
I love that.
And the taller you are, the harder it is. And Daryl's
Yeah.
about 8 feet tall.
Yeah. There's the artifact.
Yep.
Notice I call it that and not the Magatama.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. I didn't want to butcher it.
Well, that's it.
Magatama are actually real objects that are from ancient Japan, and their purpose is kind of unknown.
Oh, okay.
Nathan did his research on a lot of the when all the fantasy kind of I guess like kaiju elements and things come in. It's kind of it's tied to some like legitimate folk tales and things like this as well. Like Nathan's done a bit of a deep dive into. Yeah.
Oh, you guys look like you're fun. You're fun.
If you go up just one more,
Yeah.
scroll up just a little bit, and then choose the ninja convention. So when Daryl had enough, then we would switch to a ninja game, and we would chop each other's arms. Because he was doing 8 hours of martial arts at these cons.
And it's kind of like a fun game of tag, you know what I mean? Like you can only make one move at a time, but if someone strikes you, you've got to move out of the way. So, and you lose when both your arms have been chopped. So she just went up.
Yeah, right. That's cool. Oh, I can see some funny shorts in our future when we meet up.
There's another photo in this area that I want to show you that my wife actually took of. If you can scroll up a touch. Is it there? No, maybe down. Sorry, my mistake. It must be on my channel, my page. But there were two cleaners watching all of this happen. We're doing our martial arts demonstrations and things like this, and they were sharing a little box of popcorn, and she got this perfect shot. I'll see if I can find it, but it was like the one of them dipping their hand in, and both their eyes were looked on what they were doing. So Rachel, my wife, got this awesome candid photo, and then asked them like what they enjoyed so much, and they were just like, "Oh, we've never seen anything like this at a Comic-Con before," and like they've been to all of them because they're part of this cleaning and setup crew. But there it is there, and I loved it. It was like my favorite photo of the thing. Sharing this and it was like the perfect.
She was quickly neutralized. That's right.
Yeah.
Daryl made short work of them.
Yes.
And then I jumped on and just kicked them while they were down because that's one of the moves I know.
That's what they teach you at Yellow Belt, right? Like that's
protect your face and then wait for someone else to get them.
Yeah.
I just love this casual one.
Yeah.
Parkour.
Yeah, I've always loved that sequence. That's probably one of my favorites, actually.
Yeah.
Everything.
It's just so like, what's the word I'm looking for him? It's just so easy, so breathless, you know?
Yeah.
Effortless.
Brilliant. Effortless. Thank you, Steve. That's two for you tonight.
I know, I'm doing well.
You're doing well. You're doing very well.
I've doubled my quota.
And I'm really looking forward to Joe's character development, because well, all I can talk about is issue 1, but the way he comes across is a little bit cocky and a bit of an a-hole, but you know, yeah. So I'm really hoping that as the story progresses, he gets to mature a little bit and then, I don't know, grow up.
Yeah, there's a lot in store for Joe. Like we're really excited about like where his story ends and stuff. Like it was earlier this year that Nathan had kind of really, because we've been toying with the idea of like the big climax at the ending for a long time now. Like Nathan said, we've been at this for 6 years, and we've had an idea of what we want to see at the ending, but it hasn't really been locked down. And Nathan invited me over, and he walked me through the story beat for beat on like the ending for this and how all the things tie together. And I was like, man, this is like perfection, you know, like it's kind of like at a point where I just want to see this through so I can read it all in its entirety. Yeah. It's like a really big, everything pays off. Like when we talk about fantasy, martial arts, magic, monsters and stuff, whatever you're thinking, this ending is better than all of that. Like it's really good. Yeah. Solid.
That's fantastic. So what's the future? Sorry.
So I was just going to ask a question for Daryl. So Daryl, can you just give us a brief rundown of your martial arts history, and feel free to give your school a plug because we've got quite a few people from Melbourne here.
Yep. So my school's in Altona North, like it's an after school kind of thing. So I teach a primary school class and a high school kids class, like directly after school. You can contact through Tae Kwon Do. I'm like one of the branch instructors under Tae Kwon Do Victoria. But I've been training in martial arts since I was like 9 years old or something like this. And did a couple of years in karate, and our instructor left town. I grew up in country Victoria and then started Tae Kwon Do. It was kind of always like a thing from my dad when I started. Like my brother and I weren't ever keen on it and stuff. We were like big on, kind of comics and games and things like that. But Dad wants to do something so you can feel confident in that. Didn't like it at first, but then grew to love it. It's kind of like a whole lifestyle thing now. So the main martial art I study is Tae Kwon Do, but I've also like dabbled in boxing, kickboxing, and stuff like that as well. And currently a 4th Dan Tae Kwon Do black belt. In 2011, I did a event called the 100-Man Kumite to raise money for youth mental health.
Kumite.
You can find exactly.
I thought of that too.
It was like to raise money for youth mental health awareness and things like this through a place called Origin Youth Health. And did this event, and we had like a part of the fun of it was like we had this awesome, like it took 4 hours to get through this like 100-round fighting thing. And that track featured multiple times. My mates and I made an awesome rocking 4-hour-long soundtrack to play through this. But the Kumite song from Bloodsport appeared multiple times. It was awesome. But just love martial arts. Like I love the not just the physicality of it, but also the mindset, the spiritual side of it as well, which appears heavily in Jump Punch. And like it comes in all that awesome martial arts cinema as well, all the old school, Jackie Chan films and stuff, or Jet Li when they have to avenge their master's death and things like this,
Oh, I miss Jet Li.
I love all that stuff. Like all of it, like even martial arts comes from a place of all that, that romanticized view of it, Turtles, Street Fighter, all that kind of stuff, like, yeah, but love it. And what's your background, Steve? What was your
the style I study is a freestyle karate, so it's heavily rooted in kung fu as well. So a lot of our kata is all animal form based and things as well. It was originally created by our head instructor, who unfortunately passed away about 14 years ago, and he was funnily enough, he was a stuntman. So he used to do movies with Richard Norton and other famous martial artists as well. He was also a British SAS instructor, and learned kung fu while in China. I think Hong Kong it was. In Hong Kong, learned kung fu, and also has had different belts in different types of martial arts and other forms of karate and things as well. So, and he put together his own style. So I've been doing that. I used to do it as a young bloke, and I went back to it. I used to play American football for a while here in Melbourne as well. So once I retired from that, I thought, what, I want to get back into doing something or keep moving. So I went back to karate, and been doing it ever since 2009.
Yeah, that's great.
Awesome.
I love it.
Yeah. Good way to stay.
I think he's selfish because he's never free on a Monday night.
You just have to join up.
Yeah.
What about you, Bo? What's your story?
My story.
OmniBeau.
Mate, I can barely get out of bed every day or off the couch. So, I've in all seriousness, I've always wanted to do some sort of martial arts, but it's one of those things like learning an instrument and all these other sorts of things that you say, all of a sudden you're past 40 and you're like, well, life's over. Sorry, it's not happening. Maybe one day.
A tram ride. One Monday night. Cool. Nate, what about yourself? Like, obviously, you're quite the creative person. You do a lot of graphic design. Tell us a little bit about your background. Have you worked on anything that we might recognize or anything like that?
Yeah. So I'm trained in fine arts. I learned how to paint and draw and everything. But I also went to school to be like a physiotherapist. So when I moved to Australia, I couldn't really use my physio degree, so I ended up coaching swimming for a long time at a girls' school. And I'd always loved art, always loved comics, and I wanted to do something creative. So I retrained and then jumped into the creative industry. So I've been working as a professional creative for probably about almost 10 years now. And that has brought me a lot of opportunities, but especially my journey in comics. So when I was a kid, I used to draw a comic about a dog man called Captain Canine, actually. And then I decided I wanted to try comics again. So I decided to kind of like revamp Captain Canine and became Commander Canine. And it's about this dog man who joins the police force and gets teamed up with like a woman who's kind of being discriminated against, and they team up. But anyway, I did it as an exercise in how to practice the craft of comics, which I love because it involves illustration, it involves creative writing, typography, design, publishing all together. So I got to practice all those different elements. And when I had finished, I thought, what shall I do with it now? And I didn't know what to do with it. So I thought, oh, I'll take it to Comic-Con. So I tried to go to one of the big cons with another creator in the community. We were rejected, and it really pissed me off. And I went to Comic-Con. I saw that there wasn't really many comics at all. It was mostly like fan art and cosplay, which is cool too. But for something to be called Comic-Con and not having comics, I think that's a real tragedy. And so I'm like, screw it, I'm just going to make my own festival. And I did. And I basically, I tell people I created my own festival so I could have a table at it. And it's 100% true. But along the way, I've got to do some really cool work. I was working for Marvel actually at one point, drawing sketch cards. And so if you collect any of the Marvel Premiere, you might have gotten one of my sketch cards as like a special sort of edition. I've also been an ambassador for Copic Marker Australia, which was really cool because they sent me free markers all the time, and that was great. And I hooked up with a lot of like people throughout the country who are also passionate about comics. So it's been an awesome journey, and you know, they brought Daryl into my life as well. And aside from being collaborators, we've developed a really good friendship, and so it's been a real, you know, blessing to my life, my creative practice in comics.
Likewise, I think he brushed over the his comic festival very quickly, but it was like called Indie Comic Con. It really rallied the independent comic creator community in Melbourne. And did you have some interstate people come as well, or from out of town? Is that?
Yeah, we had interstate people. I think at that time, so when I launched it, that would have been like 2017. There wasn't really much going on as far as a platform for creators. There was another Comic-Con called Home Cooked, which I kind of based Indie Comic-Con off of, but they've been, you know, they are dependent on government grants and whatnot. And so some years they haven't, some years they didn't. And the year I wanted to like be an exhibitor there, it wasn't going to be on. So I got rejected by Comic-Con. Home Cooked wasn't going to be on. So I had to create a comic festival. But it was really cool, and people were so passionate about it that I felt like it was a duty to keep it going, like an obligation. Like, I can't let all these people down who love it. And it was awesome, you know, like it brought so many people together, and they were able to connect with an audience who might otherwise never know about their book. And something I tried to do well with Indie Comic-Con was the marketing, because what I saw from others in the space is that they would have their event, but not many people would attend, which I thought was a real shame because you had all these awesome stories. So I really tried to get a lot of foot traffic there, and I think we were successful.
Oh, definitely. Like before I met Nathan, like I saw that he was running the Indie Comic Con, and it looked so well produced and really professional from the outside looking in. And I just think it was like there's so many. As you kind of dive into the indie comic crowd in Melbourne, you notice there's so many people doing it. There's a lot of people launching Kickstarters and wanting to get their creative projects out there. And it was just such an awesome platform to do it. And that's like kind of what made me want to sort of connect with Nathan and do something, collaborate with him, because he had that sort of ambition and was really passionate about it. Well.
It was a Comic-Con designed for creators, because when you're a creator at one of these cons, it can be really lonely. It can be really challenging, especially if you go to the big cons and you're an indie book that you've self-published and you're competing against pinup art from like Spider-Man, Vampirella, these well-known brands. You don't sell any books. You sit there behind your desk, and maybe you don't even interact with many people. So it was intentionally designed so that you had to have produced a comic book. Everything you were selling had to be your own IP, no fan art allowed. and it created this environment where indie creators were able to thrive. And I think everyone appreciated that.
It's a great way to network too.
Cool.
Collaborate, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're definitely not alone in the way it thinks, because from my personal feedback and a lot of others, what you said about cons is right. Even though we're very grateful that they're around and that they exist, and that we now have, 3 a year, or 4 or 5, including Bendigo as well.
One next weekend.
The ones that are in central Melbourne anyway that I go to, yeah, it's all fan art and hardly any comics. And it is a shame that it is hardly any comics anymore. But the question I did want to ask actually is, now that you're up to issue 6 planned at the moment, is that right?
Yeah, 7. We're nutty.
5 and 6 are in production, but we've scripted. Yeah. We've outlined the whole story, but yeah, 5 or 6 are kind of in pre-production right now.
Well, what I wanted to know is now that you've come that far in the issue number, does it get easier for you guys, or is it still just as hard as it was creating issue 1 from a creator point of view? I don't mean from a literal point of view of making the comic, but, creating the story and the art and the sequential art and all that sort of stuff.
I think you evolve along the way, like in terms of how we produce our own art, but just in terms of how we collaborate together. I feel like we've got a really good rhythm now where if one of us isn't cool with something, we talk about it. We haven't had a conflict or anything about it. It's all just like, yep, okay, cool, I can see that. And usually when either of us is critiquing the other, it's something that makes that person click and go, yeah, cool, that would work. I can see where you're coming from. So it's like I guess like we're really in a really good space where we're working well together. Doing the next one, I feel like you develop your sense of how long these things take as well. Like it's, the first one I felt was probably the hardest for me, at least, because I wasn't used to drawing a whole comic. But when you get to the finish line, you're kind of like, oh man, I need a break in that. But this year I've drawn more pages than I have for any of them. We've got I'm doing 21 pages for 2 of these stories, the side stories, and we've done like a whole bunch of pages remastering the old artwork and pages for issue 5 and 6. And it's just kind of like, I don't know, you find that time or whatever. I don't know how it works, but I feel like you just get into a rhythm of it. I don't know if it's like necessarily easier or harder, but you just, I don't know. Me personally, I don't notice it as much. It's like, okay, I've got these pages to draw and now I'll do it. Where I don't see it as so much of a struggle these days,
I think
fair enough.
It certainly gets easier because I'm also an artist. So I think, speaking for Daryl as well, like the more you draw your characters, the easier it gets, the more you start to know them. And your workflows improve as you find these little like shortcuts to like get the pages out quicker. From a writing point of view, it probably doesn't change like the pace. Every issue is just as challenging to write because we want to make it entertaining. And I guess it gets more complex as the further you go, because you have to make sure that you're not writing in any, things that oppose what you've done before, right? But also it grows richer. So you learn more about your characters, and that makes the things they've done before more meaningful, and the things they're going to do in the future more exciting. And you get to know them so well that they write themselves, because you know how Joe is going to react. If I drop him in this situation, I know what he's going to do. I know what Cindy's going to do if they're in these situations. And so that's the fun part of it. And we have a lot of fun just like talking to each other about our ideas and what's come into our head and where we can go in this story. And we don't always agree, but we're both quite good at giving and taking criticism, which I think has allowed our partnership to endure so long. Collaboration isn't easy, because what you see in your mind's eye is very different to what like comes into the world. And I used to be quite a perfectionist, so I found that challenging, especially at first. And I gotten to the point now where I trust Daryl so much, that I will give him some direction, and then I know he's going to produce something awesome.
So, and likewise, like issue 4 is a great example. Like I was working off a script that Nathan had put together, and when I sent the artwork to him, he'd made changes to it, but it just fits so well. He goes, the expression you had on that guy's face didn't quite match what he was saying, so he rewrote like that a scene to kind of match how my drawings had looked, and it was like it just added to the fun. It was kind of like I kind of like sending it off and waiting to see what he does with it. You know, what's going to come back, sort of thing. You know, so yeah.
Yeah, we used to kind of work on a really tight script. So I think issue 1, I scripted it so tightly. It was like panel by panel, and we blew out in pages. Like actually the first 4 issues is that first script pretty much. So it went way beyond, and Daryl was kind of new to sequential art. So he was using like really big panels. So he'd be doing like 3 panels a page and things like that. And then once we kind of figured out our rhythms and once we kind of got in the mode, then I knew how Daryl liked to draw. And so I'd start writing the scripts for him. So like maximum 6 panels, because I knew he likes these big panels. He likes to stop on moments sometimes. And when it comes to the fight scenes, as we already touched on, Daryl's so good with the kinetics and like the action scenes. And he's got a really deep knowledge of like movies and books like that. So I'll just say to him, okay, here's where Joe and Smasher fight. You have fun and take X number of
Yeah.
and then I see what comes back, and then I react to that. So I react to what he's drawn, and that's a little bit of the Marvel style, reacting to him and just adding the script after the fact.
Yeah.
So if you could have Joe, Yukori, Cindy, or any of your characters cross over with another license, whether that be Marvel.
There we go.
All right, you know what? Let's make it a bit more interesting. Let's make it a bit more interesting. Not including the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Who would you want them to cross over with?
Ooh, my thing would be like characters from Street Fighter or something like that. You know, I'd love to see that kind of dynamic. You know, I kind of see Yukari as a bit of she's like our Chun-Li mixed with Lara Croft sort of character and stuff. You know, and Joe would be kind of a goofball in the mix as well. You know, against Ryu, which would probably irritate Ryu or whatever. You know, something like that would kind of be my thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that, Nathan, or disagree?
I've got 3 examples. Is that allowed? The first one is getting like Usagi Yojimbo, kind of like he gets portaled into their world and he's like a stranger in a strange land and they become nemesis, but then they become friends at the end. That would be one that I think would be cool. 2 would be like into the world of Savage Dragon, which I'm a huge fan of, and I think it's a lot of fun, and the tone and the flavor matches up well with Jump Punch. So I think having them in the sandbox together would be awesome. And the third is having them as guest characters on Tekken, which is my favorite.
Yeah, I was waiting for that.
You know, like get them on the fighting stage. That'd be great.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Selecting Yukari as your Tekken main, you know.
Steve, I do have to ask actually, because I didn't realize until a couple of people have made the comments, but you got rid of your pink beard really quick, didn't you, son?
I washed it and it fell out.
That's the trouble with beards these days.
Yeah,
correct.
We had a 1,000 subscription giveaway where there was a dare.
Yeah, that's awesome, guys. Well done. That's cool.
I threw Steve under the bus and said if we pass it, he's going to dye his beard pink. And for everybody watching, whether it be now or later, yes, we are aware that tonight was meant to be the reveal, the draw, the winner, but we did double book ourselves and we didn't want to cancel on these guys. So we do want you to know that we have locked in all the people that have commented on the video that you were meant to comment on. And we've also locked in the second entries for the people that did answer correctly. What is Aussieverse? Everybody should be answering that one correctly. Let's see if these two do later. And we want you to know that we will be drawing it live this Saturday. We haven't worked out a time yet because these guys have got lives. I don't. I've been waiting for them to answer me. But sometime this Saturday, we are going to be drawing that live. Okay, so one lucky winner will be getting all of that stuff. Prizes. All of the prizes. What's he saying now? Yeah, that fairy floss beard really needs to come back. You should make it your thing. I don't think he's going to, Billy. We all won by meeting these two great and talented gentlemen. Well, you've really won Matt over.
Thank you.
Right. Well, have you got anything left, Sharif, Steve? Come on.
Just one last one, I guess. So Nathan, Daryl, seeing how you guys have been doing this for a while now, what's your advice for someone who is about to take that kind of journey that you've gone through?
Mm-hmm.
I tell the kids at school and in my Tae Kwon Do class, 2 words: get started. You know what I mean? Like it's I think it took me a long time to get into it. Like I always wanted to be a comic artist and stuff all through high school and stuff, and I was finding a hard time to get into it. Yeah, I guess the other thing as well, get started, but also find those people that are sharing the same interests. And I think it was like really connecting with Nathan that really kind of pushed me into it and made me see something through to completion, because I had a hard time finishing a project. So get started, find people that have the same interests, you know? Yeah,
absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. Just get started. The great thing about comics is that the barrier is so low. All you need to get started is a piece of paper and a pencil, and you're making comics. If you write stories, you're a writer. If you draw pictures, you're an artist. And it doesn't matter what level you're at, you can create stories. And I would say just take it from your own life and what appeals to you and do it because you love it. You'll find a tribe around you. And I guess my other advice would be to embrace collaboration and avoid competition, because there tends to be a thing with artists where we're like jealous of other people's successes and we don't want anyone else to like succeed and do well. We want all of the glory for ourselves. But like by supporting others, by connecting with others, and by helping each other, you raise everybody up and you sharpen your skills the most. So
well, do I have
be a good person and just draw comics.
Yeah.
Great answer.
My joke fell on flat ears because it didn't get heard, but I'm not going to repeat it. Oh, Will, I said, do I have a story for you? The advice is just get it started. You'll always give yourself 1 million reasons to not get started, but you only need one to get off your ass. That's right. See my earlier comment about why I don't know any martial arts. Sorry, mate. I think it's 9 a.m. Sunday for us bloody Americans. God. Yeah, so Phantom just reminded me that there is Survivor Series wrestling. That's right. I do watch some martial arts. So, yes, there is the WWE on this Saturday. So we will be drawing the winners before or after that, but not during, because I'll be busy. Speaking of martial arts, how do you guys feel? Because I do know, like, when cops watch cop shows and doctors watch doctor shows and lawyers watch lawyer shows, how do you guys feel when you watch shows like Cobra Kai or other shows? Do you sit there going, oh, that's full of shit, that's not right? Or are things like pretty accurate and you're like, wow, that's actually impressive?
I love that stuff. I love the dynamic of a cool old school movie fight scene. I'm like, if I ever get jumped, like Raphael in the Turtles movie, if I get jumped by 100 ninjas on the rooftop, I wanted to play out exactly that in my mind. Without me getting beat up, I want to thrash all these ninjas. So I love that stuff. I think that's what makes martial arts so versatile. You know, you have the things like the UFC, which I really love. My brother and I watch UFC fairly frequently, but also the finesse of it, like a really well choreographed fight scene, like those old school Jet Li, Jackie Chan things. I don't think cinema today beats that stuff, you know? Like you watch First Strike, Jackie Chan fighting with the stepladder, like just that tight choreography of that and the physical prowess of all those athletes doing that, the stunt people, that's just fantastic, you know? So I'm cool with movie fight scenes, cool with real cage fighting, whatever, love it. Love all of it.
I get pumped up, man. Like when I watch Cobra Kai, I get so excited that like I'm doing like the wax on, wax off in my living room. I'm doing the high kicks and then, hamstring. I think when I watch those like inspirational sports movies, I can't think of one, but then I'm like, I should do sports. I should go outside.
I've been trying to get my partner to watch Bloodsport for years.
Oh, yeah. Dude, on it. One of my favorite stories.
The same advice: just get started. Just get started. DVD player or Netflix, whatever you have. And hey, honey,
just talking about ninja stuff before. One of my favorite stories happened. I think it was about 2 years ago in Sydney. Some guys were breaking into a pizza shop, and they've come out of the pizza shop. But what they didn't realize, right next door to the pizza shop was a ninja dojo. So they came out in the alleyway, and there's five or six blokes all dressed head to toe in black waiting for them in the alley. That was so good.
If only one of them had like a red, blue, orange, and purple bandana on, you know, touch on that, you know, like.
You're in trouble.
No, love all of it.
So, if you could take Jump Punch to another medium, what would that be? Do you think? If it forget the money, would you make an animated cartoon? Would you make a sequel somehow? Would you make a movie? What would your dream be with Jump Punches?
Well, this is the part of the thing that spurred Jump Punch on so much over the last couple of years. We've had a lot of exciting conversations with various producers and things like this. We've been invited to Melbourne International Film Festival a few times to talk with different people. I can see it, like Nathan and I have had this discussion, we can see it existing in a lot of mediums. Like if it's adapted as a series, that's like mind blown. A movie, that would be awesome. I'd love to have a premiere on the screen, but video games and stuff as well, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we've made it in a way that it appeals to all those mediums, you know what I mean? Like it's bringing in everything we love, which is movies, those TV shows, video games, and like we kind of, part of what we're writing for is to be versatile in that way as well, so it can be adapted in those sort of things, you know. So I don't know what I'd pick first. I think I honestly see like a video game or something like that coming pretty soon, you know. It's my inkling.
It would suit really well. Our long-term vision is a blockbuster feature film, and so that's kind of one of the reasons why we're continuing to do the whole book, is that we want to present it to producers. We want to adapt it to film one day and hopefully see it on the big screen. But we are ready to sell out. So like, if you want us to do a puppet show in your local like childcare center, like give us a call. Like we'll talk some numbers.
You're making me reminisce so hard on martial arts movies. I really miss those days when it was so popular that Jet Li was pulling out a movie every year, and then the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon era and House of the Flying Daggers and all that. I loved those movies, man. And there was one other one. Okay, forget the Steven Seagal. That doesn't count. There was other ones. I don't know. I've gone blank. But look, because we have had other viewers that have come in, not since the beginning, I'm just going to quickly show off the Kickstarter again, because you're probably wondering what we've been talking about the whole time. We've said Jump Punch quite a lot, but obviously this is the Kickstarter right here. You can see that there is 21 days to go. They are about halfway to the goal, or give or take. So go jump on it now, because as we have said, and I'm sorry to repeat myself to people that have watched it, so it is why I'll be quick. But if you do think of Cobra Kai's high-kicking action combined with the mysterious thrills of Stranger Things, then this also, Jump Punch, blends parkour martial arts and supernatural elements for a fast-paced adventure with humor and spectacle. Here is some of the art in the book. You can see how wonderfully shadowed and inked that is. Look at these kaijus that are coming in. I'm waiting for that scene myself. If you have just been jumping in and out and you just want to dip your toe in the water but you don't want to commit to any money yet, you can download and view the first issue for free right there on the Kickstarter.
Do you want to give it a click, and then let's take it all the way to the last 4 pages.
That is a good idea.
Oh, good, because I haven't seen it yet.
No.
What do you mean you haven't seen it yet? You've got it.
No, I've got 2.
He's mentioned that 10 times now. We're going to get your issue, Steve.
Oh, right. Okay.
I feel like I'm dropping hints. I want to copy
Go
of it.
all the way to the very end of this, kind of like page 20, I don't know, 8.
Okay, here we go.
Might take a while to load, huh?
Thinking music. Do 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 do. Okay. So what are we looking at? Where do you want me to scroll to?
Go one up. Sorry, the other direction.
Yeah.
The other direction. One more. And that's an image. So if you can make that image big, and that's kind of like that's a shorthand of what people can expect from the series. So zoom it out just a little bit.
Zoom it out.
But it's got mayhem, martial arts, magic. It's really got everything you want. Romance, kaiju, computers.
Yeah, the tech stuff as well. You see
Nice.
that guy with the robot arm and stuff. But this image was really exciting moment as well. It was like a complete collaboration, a 50-50 collaboration between ourselves. Like Nathan gave the sort of prime layout, I penciled it all, he put the inks and colors there. It's like really fun to put that together, and I love that image. I think it's like really sums up what we're doing, you know.
If you scroll down a little bit more, so this is all available to everyone. Like if you click that link, keep going a little bit, and then we have like these character profiles that we did that were a lot of fun, kind of like inspired by those old Marvel trading cards that used to have like the power bars, so you could like see where everyone stood. There's some more on this page too. But definitely give it a look, give it a read, and if you love it, pledge and share it with someone. We'd really appreciate it, because your help at any level allows us to keep working on the project and get it in more hands.
And if you do want a physical copy of it, like you can come to the Ninja Turtle screening as well, because everyone who comes to watch it will be getting a free issue.
That's right. Go to suntheater.com, look for the Ninja Turtles screening in 35 millimeter, no less. And look into this quickly, because there's not many left. And remember, you can take a pizza in. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Don't wear white. I don't know every time. I mean, I probably should take this off before I eat dinner.
So I'm just going to show you a few pages. We're going to go backwards just to give people a little bit of a taste here as well. Obviously, this is the first issue, so it's more about character development, but it's just wonderfully inked.
Yeah, that's Nathan on the inks for this one.
And I love the humor as well here. So, like, he's just saved a guy in an alley, and he's going to pull out the artifact from his pants. But before he realizes that, he's like, hey, man, I don't think this is the right time for that.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, take it. No, was that in your underwear?
Wash it first.
Yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. All right.
Yep.
We've got a couple more comments. We've got, hang on. Let's embiggen us. There we go. Mate, the 70s with Bruce Lee are the ball. Yes, Bruce Lee, of course, mate. Yeah. I get Hit Girl vibes from Cindy. She looks badass.
He's awesome. You get some cool moments coming up.
Yeah, you're going to love issue 5.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
Do you think you'll do a complete collection one day when it's all said and done?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Anything's on the table, man. We're going to make like plush dolls.
Yeah.
You'll be wearing a Cindy costume for Halloween one year.
Yeah.
I always do wonder what I'm going to.
Hey, there we go.
There you go one.
My son and his ex-girlfriend made that.
Oh, no. All right. I think that's a great dare. If Steve's going to have a pink beard, I can dress up as Cindy for the next Comic-Con.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
We did it better. We'll
all right. If anybody else want to say anything else before we depart?
Just thank you, guys. It was lovely to see you both. And thank you very much for giving up some time and coming having a chat with us tonight.
Oh, thanks so much for having us. Like, we really appreciate you allowing us to promote here and just talk with you guys. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, our pleasure. Thank you so much. And to everyone else, keep reading comics and have fun.
Well, thank you very much for reaching out. You know, I don't like, I'm going to choose my words very carefully here. I find it very odd that the amount of creators that are out there in Australia that are struggling to be successful, because it is an uphill battle creating in Australia, I think, that don't reach out and try to promote their work as much as they possibly can. There's only so much that you can do by saying, hey, come on, be a part, X, Y, and Z. So when we have people that we've never even met reach out and say, hey, we want to take the initiative and promote something, it's really fantastic to see. And I wish most people had that initiative and drive to be able to put themselves out there. You know, there are people as well that are a bit shyer, which is fair enough. Not everybody is, going online in a stream. And that's understandable too. So if you break that barrier and you go on, good on you. So it's very impressive.
Yeah, that was part of our whole marketing strategy. We're like, it's one thing to create it, but like we've really got to celebrate it and stuff, push
Tell
it, and like we feel like everything we're doing ties in the vibe with the themes and the tone of what we have with Jump Punch. So we're like, you know, get us on your podcast, let us team up with the Ninja Turtles, you know, we're gonna do some kicks with you at Comic-Con. It was like, let's just kind of we're right at you, you know. So
yeah. Good on you guys. Good on you. Thank you so much again for coming on. You are now part of the extended Aussieverse family. Before we do go, we do want to give a shout out to everybody out there that has spent the last hour and 25 minutes with us. We really sincerely appreciate it. Just like the boys down there said, we know very well that you could be watching another movie, another TV show. Hell, you could even be watching another YouTube channel. But instead, you're stuck with us during all that time, and we really love you for it. So before we go, we have one last comment from KJB. Keep up the awesome work, fellas. Your passion shows through. And that is exactly right. Oh, no, sorry, Matt. I skipped yours. Thanks for the great content as always, fellas. Aussieverse for life, from the womb to the tomb. Easily my new favorite YouTube channel. I love that line.
Awesome. Save that quote.
All right. So, look, it's a bit, I don't know who to ask. Do we ask Nathan or do we ask Daryl? Do we ask them both? No, well, they're not going to get the answer right. They're not at the same time. All right, let's see how this goes. All right. Okay. So every time we have people on this show, guys, we ask them the same question before they depart. And they usually don't get the answer right. That's fine. That's cool. We get it. But you definitely will get it right the next time after the way I react to the wrong answer. So the question is, if we were to say to you, what is Aussieverse? What would your answer be?
The womb to the tomb.
Yeah, that's it. Like
that was close. I don't blame you for picking that one, but is that your okay? So Nathan's got that. Daryl, what's your answer?
Oh, you know, go hard, go home. It's like the place to be, isn't it? You know, so that's the Aussieverse.
Okay, so I'm really hoping that after the way I sort of tell you just how wrong you are, that you're not going to kick me in the face the next time I see you. And I find that you guys are very respectable people. But unfortunately, you're very freaking wrong, because that is not the correct answer. The right answer is Aussieverse always will be for life. We will catch you next time, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much.
Thanks for having us.
You guys.
Thanks, everyone.
Back to Kickstarter.
Yes, check it out, please.
Or I'll come in and word.
You. That's right.
Yeah.